Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. We're holding in Zevachim Daf Yud Zayin in the middle of the Limudim of the Mishnah. So we started the Mishnah in Daf Tezvavim base, telling us all the psulim that you have. The psulim that you have is the Zar and the Oinin, Tful Yoim, Chus Kippurim, Chus Godim. You want to say something? It actually was said down in the Shom Achshav on the Daf today, which is a Mamisha of the hair that the tour in Hilchus Tefillah tells us that the Tefillah has become korban. And all the inyonim in Yilachas or Tefillah are compared to a korban. So you have to have kavanah. Let's say they got korban, you can't have kavanah shlo lishma. You have to have, this is not in that Torah itself, but the Orchos Chaim brings that now they have to have a machshah chutz mizman, chutz mekoymer. Also by Tefillah, you can't daven chutz zman and chutz mokum. It has to be in the right place, it has to be the right time. The Torah goes on to say that you have to have They have to have no chatzitza between you and the floor. You learn from here, like a kohen. Says the Mubach is not me'akev. And then the Torah says you learn from korban. They have to be, the legs have to be together. So says the Bach, where do we see but you have to be together? So here's you learn from our Mishnah as well, because it says the kohen cannot have his 1 foot on something else. So how do you make sure the 2 feet are on the floor? They're both together. So it's not a regular yishara like in Malachim, but they're both standing one next to each other. You don't move one top, one below. The kids are all Yechezkel Tefillah. You learn from the dinim of Karbanis, and specifically this Mishnah, one of the main sources of the Yechezkel Karbanis. The Mishnah began the parak. The Mishnah we start the parak with. Now we are holding in Daf Yud Zayin and Amud Aleph on the second line, where the Gemara brings us to one of the halachas the Mishnah mentioned, which is Tful Yoim. What's a Tful Yoim? Tful Yoim is somebody who went to the mikvah, but he did not wait for the evening. Tful that day he went to the mikvah, but he still didn't wait to the evening. Always in all, at least two of the races, when you have someone go to the mikvah, he doesn't become Torah until the evening, until Harav Shemesh. Tful Yoim means he did not have Harav Shemesh. Says the Gemara, Minolon, how do I know these Poisal Avoido? Tanya v'simoy yoimer remez atful yoim shim ovad chilel minayin. So the remez, interesting lotion. Remez, remazim. Where's a remez in ovad chilel? Tomod loimer gedoyshim yiyu v'loichal. It says gedoyshim yiyu. Negabi the koyanim. Gedoyshim yiyu loikeim v'loichal l'shem loikeim. Ki es yisheh Hashem lech loikeim akrim v'ayu kodesh. So here it says v'loichal. Imeinu yan letomed enofik mevein ozru. Tomei, we know for the psukim that we mentioned in the previous daf, beginning of the prayer, really. So he knows you that Koyanim cannot become Tomei. So I already know Tomei. So I have to have another pasuk. Today we know the Tful Yoim. Today we learn Tful Yoim. So the Gemara, but today we know lekurech karcho ulumashchis pe'ad zokon, because that's all in these psukim. The psukim that we're talking about speak about lekechu karcho b'roisham or pe'ad zganon legalechu. Right, all these things is mentioned there. Maybe that's what it's referring to. Maybe that's what it says, the Gabi Chil. Who says you're talking about Tuma?
Maybe it's referring to Mechusha Kapara.
Oh, 1 second. Says the Gemara, that's not a big question, because I prefer to do Tful Yoim than Mechusha Kapara, because Tful Yoim is one stage before Mechusha Kapara. But let's see, the Gemara is going to discuss. Says the Gemara, Tful Yoim di Ovad b'miso minolam. How do we know that Tful Yoim is b'miso? And we this is when praying in the morning, it's a little, you have to remember what we're trying to get to and what we already know. Really, we started already in the previous daf. Like one of the previous daf, when we want to learn different yonim regarding oinen, regarding zar, so we have a zara. That's already they have. But what are we trying to figure out? Is it mechal avoida? Meaning I already know there's a problem over here, but does it cause the avoida to be mechula? That's a new level. So here the Gemara says, I know already that Tful Yoim goes into the Beis Hamikdash is Chayam Misa. How do I know that? Says the Gemara, the Gomar Chilul Mitruma. You learn it Chilul Mitruma. When you have Gzer Shava to Truma for the fact that it says Chilul. So you may what the Pasul Bitruma Mochel Avoido, the like Pasul Bitruma Le Mochel Avoido. Meaning, I learn the fact that Chayam Misa Chilul Mitruma. And if I learn that, so that I learned that from Truma, I'm saying whatever is associated with Truma is going to think would be Michal Avodah. Let's see Lashon Rashi just to clarify it more. Rashi said, Tul Yoim Di Movad Mimiso, Shinuyu. It's the answer of the Gemara. Kloima Loi Matzis Le Misvei Tneu Inyan LeKoyach Korcho. The Misa could be Tul Yoim Shaba Del Film Sanhedrin, Beilim Aloi Risrafim. How do you know there is a Chiyuv? Kama Chiyuv Chiyuv Mitzuma. Umichil Dai Kol Yoliflo. You learn from this pasuk. It says Chiyuv. The Lo Yichal. Emma Kel Chiyuv Mimavet Tevev Tul Yoim Shochlu Truma. Chiyuv L'Meisu Boy Kichalu. So you learn from here. It says by Truma that Tomei Tul Yoim they ate it, or Chaimiso. Malol Miso Afos Eiver Miso. Hilka Chiyuv L'Ai Kol Exel Shomi Truma also. For the Fasha My Kaylo to know any Linyan the Psul Mitruma Telfinim Inye Betopo Hasu Mitruma Machil Avodah. Meaning, it's a little in the lush of the Gemara. It's a little harder to go in the way Rashi says it. But what Rashi's telling us is we already learned something from this in this pasuk. The pasuk says Lo Yichal. What do I learn? I learned to Truma. It's a Gzeh Chil Chil to Truma to the Yamisa. Which one should I import from Truma to bring it over here? The one which is a problem at Truma. If I'm learning from Truma, so I should bring only thing which is associated with Truma. Now, just to explain, you could have said no. All I learned from Truma is the Chayim Yisrael. But this will be something new. By Truma, it's a Tomeh, and here it talk about a Kohen took over here. Something more that doesn't make so much sense. I have to pick and choose which one should I apply this pasuk to. I already know this pasuk is associated with Truma. So it makes sense that whatever is associated with Truma, that's the one which is associated with the Chilul over here as well. I'm learning both ways. I'm learning Misa, and I'm learning also that whatever is Bechal Truma is the one who's Bechal over here. Okay, so now I ask the Gemara a question, which refers to what Rabbi Harry is basically saying from a different angle. It really goes back to the Mishnah. What's the question? The Torah teaches me all three cases. Tome is someone who's 100% Tome. That's it. Tvul Yoim is what? Tvul Yoim is someone who went to the mikvah, but didn't have Erev Shemesh. Mechusar Kippurim is someone who went to the mikvah, had Erev Shemesh, but he did not bring his korban. The next day. Now, not all Tmeim have a korban. Many Tmeim, once they went to the mikvah, they're done. But the Mitzayro and a Nazir, Nazir Shetame, and Nazav, Shira Gimel Riyos, they all have to go to the mikvah, and the next day bring a korban. So once they went to the mikvah, even though it was Erev Shemesh, it's still not 100% free because they still have to bring a korban. The Torah tells in all three of them the Ravadin of Chilul. Now Rashi tells us something very important to know. So Rashi, I have to tell you Tommy, because how do I know Tvul Yoim Mechusar Kippurim? I know it because it says in the Torah Tommy 3 times, and the Shaila is what I mean 3 times. I already know 1 time. Oh, the second we'll talk about Tvul Yoim. The third one is talking about Mechusar Kippurim. But the first one will always go to Tommy, because it didn't say Tvul Yoim, it says Tommy. So Rashi basically says that really when the Gemara is asked why you need Tommy and Tvul Yoim Mechusar Kippurim, Tommy, I understand why I need Tommy. That wasn't really part of the question. Question is why I need Tvul Yoim Mechusar Kippurim. Let's see Lashon Rashi. Rashi towards the end of the narrow lines. Lama the cost of Mona Tommy Tvul Yoim. A Tommy loy kai baile. Ask him about Tommy. The love cost of Tommy la be'asil and chad minay shichal avoido. I want to know the other ones. That Tvul Yoim be main union le Tommy alfir. The only reason I know Tvul Yoim is because it says it's not Tommy, it's that. If I want to say that he knows the pasuk we mentioned yesterday's daf, without saying he knows you have him ukrin l'gdoi shmi you b'tom. So I would say the other pasuk is Tommy. Chen v'chilsu b'kippur na kosa b'chilul im the ikri Tommy al fin l'kaman. Learn for Tommy. Chemiki b'ayli rabbe Tvul Yoim Mechusar Kippur kayber. So Tommy we know. Why have to know Tvul Yoim Mechusar Kippur? Says the Gemara, tzrichi. Tell you why I need. Di kosa g'mona Tommy sheken mitame. You know what Tommy is different? Tommy causes tumor. Spreads. It's like a disease. Moves on. But Tvul Yoim doesn't go on. Tvul Yoim is not mitame. It's only poison. Right? Sorry. Right? So again. That's why I can't write it only there. But Tvul Yoim Mechusar Kippurim lo asaminei sheker pasul b'pruv the tumor. A Mechusar Kippurim is pasul b'truma. That it's the paisa b'truma cause the truma to be pasul. B'mechusar amasheket tfulyoyim. Mechusar Kippurim tfulyoyim la'asiminei sheken mechusar ma'aseh. Mechusar Kippurim is mechusar ma'aseh. What does it mean mechusar ma'aseh? You still have to be a carbon. Tfulyoyim doesn't have to do anything. He goes to the mikvah. What happens after he goes to the mikvah? What does he have to do? Nothing. He just has to wait for the evening. So he doesn't require anything to do. So I'll tell you, Mechusar Kippurim is Michal Avoido. Oh, because he's more tummy. He still needs to do something. Mashayket Tvuyoim doesn't have to do something. You're not going to learn from it. Okay. So says the Gemara. I think I said something wrong. The previous sentence, Tvul Yoim is possible truma, not Mechusar Kippurim. If it would say Tvul Yoim, it's possible truma. That's why Kiyalam Mechusar Kippurim is not possible truma. Says the Gemara, say Mechusar Kippurim. Mechusar Kippurim needs a ma'aseh. So Tvul Yoim doesn't learn from it. Says the Gemara, okay, Mechadol Yossi Teisi Chadam Mitarte. Okay, so you don't want to write one, write two, and then learn the third one from the two. Says what should you now write? And you'll learn from Tvul Yoim, and you'll learn from Tomeh. Both Tvul Yoim and Tomeh, because Tvul Truma. Mashayket Mechusar Kippurim is not place of a Truma, only Bekotcha. Don't write Tvul Yoim and learn from Mechusar Kippurim Tomeh. What are you going to ask? Right? You want to tell me because Mechusar Kippurim needs to still bring a carbon, and a Tomeh still needs to go to the mikvah. They're both Mechusar Ma'aseh. Tvul Yoim doesn't have to do anything, so you can't learn from the other two. Says the Gemara, Soif Klisha lo tumosa, or the right gear so here Klisha lo tumosoy, meaning says the Gemara is basically slugging up what we just said before. We said that Mechusar Kippurim is stronger than Tvul Yoim because Mechusar Kippurim is Mechusar Ma'aseh. You still have to be a carbon. Tvul Yoim automatically becomes tar. So the Gemara, yeah, but at the end of the day, Mechusar Kippurim is less tummy. So yeah, you Mechusar Ma'aseh, Mechusar Ma'aseh, L'Ma'aseh is less tummy. Doesn't have the same level of tumah. Look at Rashi, last Rashi now. Conclusion tumah also. The Mechusar Kippurim Sharei Yiv Shivshay. It really was a Shemesh. In other words, Mechusar Kippurim, yeah, be a carbon, he's not so tummy.
But his tumah was worse than the other ones. That's why.
Why? To begin with? Not necessarily.
So how do you know how much of that tumah is really left?
Because
it's a harder tumah.
It's not the tumah of a Tmei Mace. What is Tmei Mace less chomer than Tmei Zav? Nazav? They're both the same level of tumah. Hadarabah. Right? Tmei Mace is more chomer than Tmei Zav.
Why is the third place that you need it is?
It's the third when you need a carpet. Doesn't mean he's more tummy. He has to have kaparos to bring it for. There's a reason. The cheshboin is why the Torah asks for a carbon, but it's not more tummy. And you were talking about tumah. What ruins the carbon? It's not more tummy. So the Gemara says, Mechusar Kippurim L'Maaseh went to the mikvah, the Shamash Marif, and the tumah is almost nothing left. So don't tell me it's Mechusar Ma'aseh. That's the Gemara understands right now. Says the Gemara, maybe that's what you meant. Look at Gemara David Zayin on the base. Kasavar Mechusar Kippurim Dezav Kezav Dami. Someone who still requires a carbon, he still has the same level of tumah that he had before. If he was a zav and he still has to be a carbon, he still remains a zav with all the chomer of tumah. And Rashi says also all those. Let's see Rashi side. Mechusar Kippurim Dezav Kezav Hu Adim Mitzayru. And the Chal Minay Nokat. Mechusar Kippurim Dezav Kezav Dami Linyan Kotshim. Shaloi Uto Etzloi. Havla Ki Ilu Loi Tova. V'im Och Loi Chayav Koris. Or Nogabo Tamel Memoisa Ben Moshe V'Sheni. Chakoshe the most Kotshim Klal. Meaning, and this Rashi really explains a little bit more the end of the Amud. The Gemara understood that once he goes to the mikvah, even though he still has in the korban, he's not so tum anymore. He lost it. He's already, he's almost out. Says the Gemara, no, he holds the Mechusa Kippur of Zav, has din of Zav, with all the halachas of Zav. He's chayav kares if he touches something, b'kachim. And wherever he touches is going to be counting all the counts you have. Nothing left him in the tumah. Until it doesn't bring his korban, he remains the same level of tumah. Oh, so he's not only tameh, he still needs to be a korban. He's Mechusa Maaseh. So he's Mechusa Maaseh, you can't learn Tefillah from there.
Is this the case by all tumas or just as a?
All tumahs need to bring a korban.
No, but I'm saying, obviously, Gemara brings you that example. But are you telling me that there are other tumas where, based on his level of what he did, he's not less tumah?
Yeah, anything you have to be a korban. Any Mechusa Kippur. That's what Rashi, like Rashi says, anyone who has to bring a korban, until it doesn't bring his korban, he stays with the same level of tumah according to this manama.
That he has to bring a korban, but what happens if he does not bring?
He's tar.
No, I'm saying there's two things. There's mikvah and then there's.
Full yoim is not as the same korban. Full yoim is not the same tumah like someone did not go to the mikvah. If he doesn't have to bring a korban. It's only the one who has to bring a korban that he stays at the same level of tumah according to this manama until he brings the korban. But if he doesn't have to bring a korban, like a tvei meis, he did a zoh, shlishi v'shvi, went to the mikvah. Now he went to the mikvah, he's a full yoim. He doesn't have the same level of tumah as before. That's clear. Says the Gemara, this concept that someone who still has to bring a korban still stays in the same level of tumah, that's a machlokes tanoim. Tanya, sorfa oinen, talk about paradum. Paradum, that oinen went and burned it. Umechusa kippurim, or mechusa kippurim burned it. The din is ksheiro. It's kosher. Yosef abavli oimer oinen ksheiro. Oinen is kosher. Mechusa kippurim sula. So if you have a machlokes, oinen everybody holds is okay. But mechusa kippurim is a machlokes. If a mechusa kippurim means someone who went to the mikvah and he went out of shemesh, and now he didn't bring his korban yet. If he burned the parah, did he ruin the parah or not? Says more my lab. And the same way a tame who ruins does paraduma ruins it, and it is because the Torah says v'sor of ishtar from our sovelab kazavdami, and the mandoma holds that it doesn't have a problem of burning the paraduma. He's not a din of a right? Rashi adds over here just to your point. He's like a tuliyim. So he's exactly the same level tuliyim. So more look, the kula alamo kazav dami. He has a din of a zav. The hocha back of it. What's the machlokes if he could do or not? Tichtiv hizo hator michlal shu tomeh. Okay, it says hator. He's a hator. What do you call it? He's a hator. Mashi, he's not a regular guy. He's somewhat tar. That teaches you that Tul Yoim was not fully tar. He's in the process of tahara. He's kosher apart. When the Torah tells you that a tameh is that someone who's not so tar can do paraduma, who are we talking about? Are we talking about tumah dechol Torah, meaning we talk about even the Tvul Yoim of Zav. The Torah told you that Tvul Yoim is kosher apara. Every Tvul Yoim. Meaning once he went to the mikvah. Doesn't matter if it's a Zov, if it's a Tvei Meis, if he's a Mitzayma, he's always going to be okay. Or we're talking about that parsha, because that parsha is talking about Meis. A paraduma, we're talking about the pasuk. Don't kill was boya. So the answer we said Tvul Yoim is okay. But maybe if you need a carbonate. So the shaila is the Torah gave you the Tvul Yoim, someone went to the mikvah, is allowed to burn the parah. I mean, doesn't ruin, not allowed to. But if you burn the parah, doesn't ruin it, is that a din by Tvul Yoim of mace only, doesn't mean a korban? Or it means every Tvul Yoim, even Tvul Yoim dezav? Ma'asovar tumah d'chol Torah kula, every Tvul Yoim. Ma'asovar tumah d'chol a pasha, which means a Tvei mace only. Hilkach oinen v'tvul yoim, the Talmish, the Tvei Sheretz. So if you hold that we're talking about the tomb of that parsha, which is Tvei Meis, so oinen was not really tummy. You treat him as a tummy. He had a mace that day. It's not really a tummy. Efshar right? Possibility, according to some, that maybe it's only in the Rabbanim. Utvul yain the Tama Sheretz, which is less of a tumah, the keel, they're more common than mace. Also, Kavachim Tvul yain the mace. So you learn if it's Tvul yain the mace, the third Tvul yain the mace can burn the Paraduma. So Kol Sheken Tvul yain the Sheretz, which is not so common. Havav Chus Kippurim the Zav the Chamir Sheget Tumah Yaitza Amiguf Aloi. We're talking about Chus Kippurim the Zav. So we say no because they're tumah because of Migufoi, meaning not because it has to be a korban. Interesting. But because tumah Yaitza Migufoi, it's a tumah which comes from your body, maybe that's what you're referring to. Refer. He said Zav is more chomer. Why is it more chomer? Not that the tumah is more chomer, but what's the source of the tumah? The source of the tumah of a Zav is coming Miguf, it's coming from his own body. So that's why it may be more of a problem. Mele what? Mele says the Gemara. When the Torah tells you that Tvul Yom can be placed is not placed in a plural, the question is talking about every Tvul Yom. Talking about only specific Tvul Yoms. We're talking about Tvul Yom of that Pasha and whatever is below it, because only for Kavachim. Whatever is above it, they don't learn. So Tvul Yom Zav can't do it. Immediately says Yeshiva Bavli Mechusu Kippurim is possible to do Paradum, but that's Xeros Kosov there. Says Tvul Yom, which Tvul Yom we're talking about, but it could be that everybody agrees that Tvul Yom that Mechusu Kippurim is a din of a Zav. The Shayla is what the Torah told me. When the Torah says that Tvul Yom can do it, it's Xeros Kosov, so he can do it even though maybe he's Tomei. Yeah. That's the one says, so not a rayo, we don't have a rayo from our sugya that Yisrael probably holds that the Mechusa Kippurim of a Zav doesn't have a din of a Zav. Could be he does have a din of a Zav, but it's Xeros Kosov that says that it's motor. So I don't know. So once everybody agrees that Mechusa Kippurim the Zav has a din of a Zav, but although he has a din of a Zav, still the din is that Xeros Kosov is not metam. If he burns the paradumo, doesn't root it. And remember, paradumo is not a korban. We said before. So paradumo it could be a din of paradumo, even though it's a visual Torah. Xeros Kosov, the Torah, not this. Doesn't mean going to korbanos. It's not mechal of the Yeah. That's what we're from here. That's yeah, the man exactly. Very good. So this is where you live in the pasuk. That says you can't do it. Very good. We're going to stop over here, even though it's a little more, because the next sugya starts over here, Mamash goes into the next Amud. It's almost in the middle of the words, stuff in the middle. So we'll stop over here.
So you're not going to see after 2 weeks for us.
When now?
No, after. That's of Saturday night.